be retiring at 65 years old.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old.
Wait, what? Yes, this is true. Joe Biden shouldn't be running for president. And yes, the retirement age should be lowered, as a matter of fact, not made higher.
The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years.
What is he saying, bro? How do people look at this guy and think that he has any fact in any of his analysis, like ever? How do you look at the situation and go, first of all, everyone around me is dead. Everyone around me that retires dies immediately. Okay? In order to avoid death, you must work till you die. I also don't get it because, like, one, you're straight up fucking alienating your audience of old people. And two, making an argument for why Biden should continue running for president at his age. Which, by the way, that very same argument extends to Donald Trump as well. Both of those motherfuckers should have retired. Hello? They're old. They're both old. This is like the maximalist position that is the worst possible position that Ben could have arrived at.
And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket.
Lose their purpose in life by losing their job is crazy, dude. Yeah. You know what I think of? When I think of, the happiest elderly on the planet, I think of the Walmart greeters. That's right. I think of the old lady that's still working in the Amazon facility. Okay? She's so happy.
Basket real quick. But put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk. That is not fiscally sustainable. The notion that if you have to raise the retirement age to 67 or 68, that everyone is going to fall apart. My parents are that age. My parents are not retired. And they shouldn't retire. It would be very bad for them to retire. By the way, it's disrespectful to people who are 67, 68, 69 years old to suggest that they are in the same shape as people who are 65 were in 1940. It's not true at all.
Dude, this is nuts. Bro really said Arbeit macht frei, by the way. Like, he's saying work sets you free. Everybody knows this, okay? I don't know where I got this quote from, but everybody knows work sets you free, okay? Work, 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 work. When you're a productive laborer, when you have productive output that is necessary for society to continue, you are happy. You are at your happiest. It's like, bro, retirement used to be presented in the past as a positive thing. It's like after you sucked the dick over and over and over again for 40 years, for 50 years, now you can finally not work and survive. But because of austerity and because of the way that American capitalism operates, we do not have that freedom for our elderly, okay? When they are no longer productive members of society, productive in the capitalist sense, I'm saying. Okay? Like, that used to be a thing that people look forward to. You know, you get your pension, you retire, you travel the world, you do the things that you wanted to do that you didn't have the freedom to do when you were working. We've completely moved past that point, and that is precisely the reason why Ben can even say such things without people immediately trying to put him under a goddamn guillotine like the French would. Okay? Holy moly. It's additionally funny for him to say this as someone who just sits behind a camera like me, okay, and chirps about the world for 2-hour increments at a time and makes tens of millions of dollars. We are very fortunate people, Ben and I, okay? Ben even more fortunate than someone like myself. Ridiculous for him to sit there and be like, you poors, you need to keep working longer. Far after you should be working in a normal situation. Blows my goddamn mind, dude. How the can someone listen to this and go, yeah, no, this is my guy. This is my woke guy.
Have you met a 65-year-old lately? 65-year-olds are not old in the United States. They're not. 68-year-olds are not old in the United States. Again,
Like, he's trying to present it as a positive, which is crazy. Yes, bro. Due to medical phenomena, all right, due to modern medicine, 65-year-olds get 10 extra years of having fun. The notion that life expectancy was 63 at a time when FDR laid it down for 65 as the retirement age wasn't so that people die, dog. Like, what do you mean? Also, the reason why life expectancy was 65 wasn't because people were dying at the age of 65. I don't think a lot of people understand how life expectancy works. It's infant mortality. That's what lowers life expectancy. Ben should know this. He's a political commentator. This is a common misconception about even like the dark ages or whatever, thinking that people just straight up die at the age of 30. Why the we have hundreds of talking heads like this saying retirement age is too low, but zero saying we should lower it? Retirement age should be 10 to 20 years earlier, and Social Security tax cap should be lifted. I agree, but good luck.
again, Joe Biden thinks he's not old, and that dude is running for president again, and that dude actually is old, and he's 81. I fail to see how a country in which our entire leadership class is 80 plus is telling you that we should have a retirement age of 65. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and then he goes like, he talks about the underlying perceived hypocrisy. The point of retirement is supposed to be seen as like, you've done your work, you no longer have to, okay? You've done your work, you worked your whole life, and you no longer should have to. Now you can have fun, okay? Now you can have a sense of autonomy in your life. Now you can control your own destiny, right? That was supposed to be the retirement. Ben literally has completely cast aside that notion. Retirement is not even seen as a positive, because you want to know why retirement is not seen as a positive nowadays? Because Social Security doesn't make up enough, because there's no such thing as pensions. It's now 401ks for the most part. Okay? That's it. Ben also makes an argument as to why Biden should retire. He's too old. Blows my goddamn mind, dude. The reason life expectancy was so low was infant mortality. People still live to 80. It's a silly argument. I know. It's just like, it's dumb. Also, obviously, like, there are other reasons. Like, I'm a retirement originalist. The framers before us decided that retirement should be at 65, and that's it. There will be no retirement control, shall not be infringed. I'm opposed to any retirement control unless we get more retirement. Bro, it's just like, I don't know what to say about this. Like, it's just so, it's so odd. We argue against a life of dignity at every step here in the United States of America, and it's like built into our core. A life of dignity is not one where you are lost in your work, where you have no control over your life because you're working. A life of dignity is the freedom to pursue things that are fulfilling, meaningful. That's how you have a life of dignity. Here's another anti-retirement
I know
video.
politicians are telling you you can retire at 60, but let me tell you, the economics are clear. We need to be working into our 70s. The idea of retiring at 60 is fine if you're going to die at 70. But the truth is...
What the f do you mean? No, it's not. What? How much money does this freak make? Hold on. Linda Grattan. Let's see what she does. A British organizational theorist, consultant, and professor of management practice at London Business School. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's a Scouser who betrayed her earlier ways. What is this? She's from Liverpool too. Neoliberalism robs you of your soul. I swear to God. This argument I don't think works in America, because the American dream quite literally is retiring at the age of 30, retiring at the age of 40. That is literally what the American dream is all about. Being able to like off and make you money early on, get the bag. The entrepreneur mindset is quite literally this. So that's precisely the reason why I don't think Americans look at this and go, no, actually, I do want a life of endless work. Linda Grattan, redesigning work, how to transform your organization and make hybrid work for everyone. Future of work thought leader, writer, speaker, influencer. Hello, I'm Professor Linda Grattan, as well as an award-winning thought leader, writer, and speaker. I'm the founder of the Global Research Advisory Practice, HSM Advisory. I've been retired for 8 years, and here's the truth. Save your money, invest as much as possible, and retire as soon as you can. We were not made to work like mules until we die. There are so many things people can do besides work, just my 2 cents. Yes, My retirement account has gone down 13.7% the past year due to rebalancing. I did it out of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What are the best alternatives to take in order to secure a financially free retirement? People just want freedom in their retirement. They want to be able to pursue dignified things. They want to be able to keep themselves busy. That's the whole point. The issues with retirement is not due to the retirement age being too early. It is that you don't have meaningful pursuits post-retirement because we've been wired into being serfs. That's the problem. We've been wired into thinking that we're peasants, okay? That we have to work for a life of dignity. There is so much more to be had, to be experienced in the world other than your output at the widget factory. Jesus Christ, dude. And it's always asshole economists who chirp like this. It's like, yeah, obviously your job is a little bit more meaningful than most of the workforce. I hate this. This is why I hate the World Economic Forum, by the way, because this isn't socialism. This is the exact opposite. This is capitalism. This is neoliberal capitalism in display. Even India is seeing some of this opinion with Narayan Murthy, who is the father-in-law of UK PM Rishi Sunak and is the founder of Infosys, one of the largest conglomerates in India. He literally stated that the youth of India should work 70 hours a week. Insane. Yeah, because they are desperately trying to squeeze what remains for the fractions that will give you additional profit margins. That's it. As technology improves, as sectors streamline, as there is more efficiency, you need less workers for the same output. But that also creates a real tricky problem. The rate of profit tends to decline in that circumstance. And when the rate of profit declines, well, then you have to do imperialism to keep people servile and low so that you can continue exploiting them further. But, you know, progress is still inevitable on that front due to technological achievements, even if they arrive later, right? And those technological achievements can be your liberators or they can further enslave you. Under capitalism, all matter of technological advancement is seen as a mechanism to enslave you further, even if it makes your life in other avenues a little bit easier. Yes, it can be your wings or your ball and chain. Now, the problem is you do not have any way of seeing it. And this is a genuine problem for the future because as we develop further and further, as medicine improves, as people survive and live to the age of 100, okay? As we survive and live to the age of 100, you now have a real problem with like people who are just not contributing to the output. People who are not simply working at the widget factory, okay? When you're 70, you can't work at the widget factory anymore. What are we supposed to do? Now, either we change our entire way, either we rewire the way that our economy is organized, which we won't do because too many people make money the way that the economy is organized currently, or we try to find different ways of continuing to put older people back into the workforce. And we'll sell you a lie while we advocate for such things like, oh, this is good for your brain. God forbid you look at the situation and you go, we should find ways of improving retirement that people can find dignity in pursuit of passions that they literally did not have time to pursue, that people can continue working their brains in meaningful ways in the way that they would when they were working. That would require profits to plummet. We can't do that. Get back to work, I say. Awesome.
Most of us aren't. Every single decade, we live longer. So the thought that you...
Isn't that crazy? Like modern medicine has improved our lives dramatically, and we still find a way to that up.
So the thought that you might live to 100 is a possibility. And so the idea of retiring in your 60s, I think, is entirely outmoded. We need to think about working right the way through our life. But of course, to do that, we have to change the way we think about our whole life. I'm Linda Grattan. I'm Professor of Management Practice at the London Business School and founder of HSM Advisory. I'm the author of...
This is the most nefarious type of propaganda because, like, she's presenting working as a positive and saying like we should simply rewire the way we understand work. That's not going to happen for 99% of the workforce.
Of redesigning work and the 100-year life. I've been writing about the future of work for more than 20 years. And frankly, I was beginning to get pretty frustrated. I wrote about how the world was going to change, and I was sort of surprised it didn't change, because actually the forces against change are pretty strong. People were saying, well, we still need to come into the office. I know there's a long commute, but it's really important. You can retire when you're 60, that's going to be okay. I knew that wasn't going to work, but I really couldn't see the forces that were going to change that. The pandemic was an astonishing event. Suddenly, 50% of workers could work from home. So what that did was to upend many of the traditions we had about work. For example, if you take a look at a typical life that your dad had or that my dad had in the 40s and 50s, it followed 3 stages, which everybody did, by the way, at the same time. Full-time education, full-time work, full-time retirement. You don't really have to have a great deal of self-insight. All you have to do is to look around, left and right, and ask yourself, what's everybody else doing at my age? Because age equals stage. But that's not going to work for me. It's not going to work for you, and it's certainly not going to work for our children. Think about the way that the world is changing. It's changing in the sense that we're living longer. So that means that simply retiring at 60 or 55 just...
Dude, this is the... Are you ready for the New World Order shit? I swear to God. You will own nothing and be happy. This is literally like, you will keep working because work sets you free. That's what this is.
Just isn't going to work.
Eats a bug.
It's changing in the sense that there are huge technological changes coming up almost on a daily basis.
Funny enough, if you raise the retirement age, life expectancy would probably drop as a consequence of it. Yeah, literally.
For example, generative AI is a thing that we're all looking at now. Why are we so excited and frightened of that? Well, it replaces knowledge work. In fact, there's an argument that it might even replace the creative tasks that we do. So technology requires us to upskill and reskill every year of our life. And it's changing in the sense that the family structures that we have are also becoming much more individual. So if we're going to have different ways of living, different family structures, we need to redesign work. So here's what I think is going to happen.
Finally, please.
We're going to start doing what I would call a multi-stage life. It's the idea that you can do all sorts of different things at all sorts of stages. So for example, education suddenly becomes something you do right the way through your life. It becomes a lifetime of learning. Work becomes something that you dip in and out of. Rather than starting in a company when you're 20 years old and just going straight through, you could work part-time, you could freelance, you could take time off. And retirement also moves back. And it takes...
This is so funny. Consulting. I like the very necessary labor of consulting. Okay? It's like, come on. Everyone will be a consultant at one stage of their lives. It's like, yo, are you dumb as hell? We need nurses. We need plumbers, lady. That's like, you're so stupid. Like, we're talking about the broadest sectors in the Western world. It's literally socially necessary labor, not socially unnecessary labor like consulting or Twitch streaming. It would be like, it blows my mind how out of touch these people are, because like people that listen to this shit come in here and yell at me all the goddamn time, not realizing that like, I've never made an argument, for example, I've never made an argument that like what I'm doing is like socially necessary labor. Okay. It's not. There's utility in it, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's so